Hi everyone and welcome to Planners Anonymous. I'm Sammy and today I'm going to take you through our Seaside kit stamp and some of the things that you can achieve using the stamp. So let's get started. So our Seaside stamp has 16 pieces and we've got this beautiful palm monstera leaf, and we've got a towel, a few sentiments, some to-do list, some headers, a sun or a focus piece, some light rays, a couple of girls, some more sentiments, wishing you were here, beach please, and some waves. So on the back of all of our stamp sets is some care instructions, and how to clean it, for how you're going. Now what I use to clean it is, let's take this out. I just use like a baby wipe, a diaper wipe, and that tends to do the trick. So with this one, now these are also photopolymer, so you are going to need to use an acrylic block with them as well. Now I'm just going to show you through each one. So the one thing I love about our ink and our stamps is that they generally don't need priming. What I have done in the past to prime my stamps, if they're not working for me, is to just give them a very, very light sand, very light. And when I say sand, I use a nail file, like the fine side of the nail file, and yeah, that's how I get the most out of them. So this ink is the ink as well that comes in our Planners Anonymous kit, and I find it just sits beautifully and doesn't, depending on the thickness of paper that you're using, it doesn't go through the paper. So I'm just going to make waves. Now with stamps like this, because if you lay them down, a lot of the times you'll find that they sort of don't sit properly. So what I'll do is I'll put them on my paper first, get my ink pad, and then go over the top and not the ink pad, get my acrylic block, and then pick it up with the acrylic block, and you'll find that sits a little bit better. I've also, what you're seeing here is I use an ink block that has a grid already on it, just so that I can keep things straight. So I'm just going to tap this on to make my waves. It's a nice little wave there, and nice little wave here, and bit of a wave there. So there's always a few different ways that you can get a look that you want, and just giving them a clean after every use, and that way you'll be able to use them for a long, long time to come. Now this little blob, I've had a few people asking me what this is. This is originally designed as a sun. It's also designed, so I created it in a few different parts. So we've got our sun. I'll stamp you up here. Oops, sorry. I'm pressing too hard today. I don't normally press so hard. So I'm getting a little bit of a odd imprint. So I use the sun. So that's the sort of the first splotch for the sun. And then I've got these two little sun rays. And the way I like to use it is I do some this way. And because I want it to look uneven, and continue on with that beautiful sort of hand-drawn almost look, that hand-drawn watercolor look that I get in my kits. I'm just gonna, be a little bit haphazard with it, which plays with my perfection side that I have, and that's why I've included two different sun rays. Now, if you're finding that they're not sticking to your acrylic block, it's probably because your acrylic block is a little bit wet from your wet wipes, or however you want to however you're cleaning them in between goes. So just make sure that you're wiping down your acrylic block. I mean, and there I have a sun. It's a little bit off, but it's a blue one. But I just thought I'd demonstrate it to you using our inks. Now, what else do we have? I've included this girl now. I might stamp her in black. Now, the black ink that I'm using is the VersaFine. I find that it gives a really good impression with our stamps. Because our designs are exceptionally fine, it gives you some really good detail. Oops. If you don't press too hard. There we go. So you can see you get all these beautiful details in the fringing on the towel that she's got. Okay. Also included in this stamp set is a little sand dollar, and our little sand dollar is really cool just on its own, but also as a little to-do list marker. So if you want to, as I said, if you want to get that little sort of not so uniform look, just keep alternating and turning, and you'll get so much more out of your stamps. If you don't want to go to that much effort, there is always our, I'm going to include a to-do list in every single kit. So, and that's just done for you. So it makes it nice and easy and nice and simple and quick. And let's face it, I don't know if you guys are like me, but spare time is not easy to come by. So when I do have some spare time and I get some time to sit down and plan, I don't want to be wasting too much time. I want to do it quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay that down and pick it up with my ink block. And what that does is make sure that I'm not laying it on crooked. And I'm just going to, oops. I'm really heavy-handed today, so I apologise. I'm normally much better. I've been stamping for many years. I guess stamping and making cards is sort of a first love for me in crafting, which I'm now passing on to my 4.5-year-old daughter, who always tries to get into my supplies, and you'll see her from time to time in the group. I might just do the same with that. Don't be afraid to layer. Don't be afraid to repeat. Basically, they're stamps. Just use them. That's the glory. That's the thing that I love about stamps in comparison to using stickers. A sticker you use it once. I love stickers. Don't get me wrong. I go crazy for stickers. My husband doesn't know. Shh. How many of us have secret addictions? Well, mine's not so secret anymore, but it used to be. That was an interesting conversation. That our husbands don't know about. Yeah, I love stickers. So I'm definitely not bagging out stickers here because they are just absolutely essential. But I find that stickers are great if you want to be super quick. Stamps are also great, and they're a little bit more customizable. Well, obviously, depending on the stamp. But I do try and make... Oops. That's the problem. I've just done it crooked. Actually, let me just show you some layering with one of those. So I'm going to put black on this. Obviously, maybe a green would have looked really cool. Straight over the top. So you get... Or, pardon me, on its own. So there's a few different looks once you start layering the stamps. There's so much more. I mean, I know it says that there's 15 pieces in the stamp set, but once you start combining and having a bit of a play, there is so much more. Like this sun here, that spot on its own, I use as like a little feature in my planner. And it's not just for this kit. I plan to use it for all my other kits as well. And that's the same with this little wine glass set. I plan to use that so much. Not that I drink too much at all. Okay, fun in the sun. I might just show you. So everything's designed to work together. These are, I believe that they're, from memory, 0.25 high by 1.5 across, so they work really well in your happy planners and your Erin Condren. Now, one thing that I have been asked a lot about in the forums, and I'm going to show you it now because it's super cool, and I'm just going to get a new piece of paper to show you, is some layering and some masking. What you're going to need for this is your stamp set, and we're going to use the towel and the girl. And you need Post-it notes and some good scissors to get some fine scissors so you can get into the details. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I want to have this towel, and I want to sit my girl on it. So pardon me, you can probably hear my little girl in the background singing. So what you need to do is you need to think about what order and what's going to show up on top, because what's going to show up on top is your first stamp. So we're just going to turn her over, pick her up, give her a good stamp, and place her down. Oh my gosh, that was like the worst impression ever. Okay, we'll do it over here. Let's turn this over. I don't want to look at her. That was a bit horrible. Okay, and place her down. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me try this again. I'm actually working on a really uneven work surface, which doesn't help when you're doing stuff like this. And this is one of the reasons on the back of the paper, let me see if I can find it even, is on the back of my stamp instructions, I always say to use a stamp positioner. There we go. And the reason why I say that is because if you have a bad impression like I just did then, you can, when you open it, you can repress it again and press it back down. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have cleaned that, because what we need to do is we need a second impression, but on a Post-it note. Now, because I'm basically sorry, I can hear my little girl singing. Because I'm going to have that, her sitting on the towel, I really only need like this bottom part of the girl. So I'm going to put that bottom part on the sticky part of my Post-it note or sticky note or whatever you want to call it. And then what I'm going to do, oh my goodness, is I'm just going to take her. So I'm going to put this towel on first. Take my paper snips and I'm just going to cut her out. Now, for most of it, it doesn't matter, but where you want her sitting on the towel, you want it nice and close, because what you want to do is you want, sorry, this is going to take me a little bit, you want the ink lines of the towel and of the girl to sort of come up nice and close together. But it's up to you. If you want a little white space around her, then leave a little bit of white space as you're cutting out on the Post-it note. For me, I sort of like to butt them up nice and close. Now I'm only probably going to use up to that, so I don't need the rest of it. So I'm not going to sit here cutting out what I don't need, because time is precious. And the good thing about this is if you make a really good Post-it note, you can keep it and use it again and again and again. I've sort of done this a bit dodgy. So this will not be an impression that I'm keeping. But then what you want to do is you basically want to, can you see that? I basically want to stick it straight over the top. So I'm using the sticky part of the Post-it note. So it literally sits right on top. Okay? So that's all stuck down. Now I'm going to take my towel stamp and find out where the non-dodgy part of my thing is. And I'm just going to see where I want this to sit. So I roughly want it about there. And I'm just going to stamp that down. Okay. At the moment, it looks like an absolute mess, right? And this is where the magic happens. You ready for the magic? You ready? You ready? You ready? How cool is that? And now she's sitting on the beach towel. So what you can do is once you put all your stamps back together, so this, well, she's now ready to colour in, right? And how cool is that to do in your planner? Not just in your planner, but where is my cover sheet for my inks? I had a plastic sheet here somewhere. There it is. In a planner, on a card, you know, because then you can just add your, oops. Then you can just add your little, you know, little sentiment. You know, we've only spent a few minutes and we're already on the way to making a card. Like, it's so simple. And then you can watercolor with her using your watercolors, or color in with pencils, or Copics, or markers, or whatever your preferred medium is. Now, once I've put these back away, I want to use this again. So I'm just going to stick that on the front of my ink set, so that I've got my mask ready and waiting for next time. And that way I don't have to cut it out. So usually what I'll do is I'll make a really good set of masks, or a mask for something that I'm going to use quite often, and do that. But that's the masking that you can do with our inks, our stamp set. So every month what I'll do is I'll be showing off a new tutorial for our stamp sets and our inks. And this one, as I mentioned, is the one for our Seaside kit. If you hop along to www.plannersanon.com, you can subscribe to our kits. They do have a tendency of selling out quite quickly. So make sure you jump in so you don't miss out. And if you have any questions, we've also got a Facebook group with an absolutely amazing community of girls and guys who can answer any questions. I'm also in there as often as I possibly can be. And I'll be answering questions as much as I can. But I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will talk to you all soon. Enjoy crafting. Come in the group, show me what you've made, and hope you love our kits. Bye, everyone.